One of the moments my team and I really loved about this episode with Jeremy is when he took a moment to really break down how to differentiate yourself as a business owner around the 1040 mark. And it was just one of the many things that he talked about in this episode that really brought value. So sit back and enjoy the rest of the conversation we had with Jeremy. One of the found the Live Local Marketing Podcast, where business owners share their knowledge about what's working in the market today. No fluff, just their experiences and stories from people who are making it happen. And if authentic, practical marketing resonates with you, be sure to visit livelocalwarmmarketing.com and learn to grow your business on warm marketing referrals. Now, on to the show. Joining us, the Live Local Warm Marketing Podcast today, we're Jeremy. Sir, how are we feeling today?
I'm feeling fantastic. Thanks for inviting me on. I love the format of the show, and I've learned so much from your guests.
That is a good time. Thank you. We're going to do a little bit about you and then get right into the questions. So, Jeremy is a serial entrepreneur with a focus on software as a service, technology, and information marketing. In his role as a mentor and a coach to entrepreneurs, Jeremy's helped small business owners make the transition from solopreneur to business owner, which is a big jump. Jeremy's interviewed extensively by media for his expert opinions on real estate, on business, and he has been interviewed and featured on NPR Morning Edition, the Boston Business Journal, Fox News, ABC, NBC, PBS, Boston Globe, New England Cable News, Australian, California Business Market, and on and on and on and on. So you have a ton of value to add today, and we're getting excited. Are we ready for the questions?
I'm born ready. What do you got? Are they surprises? I'm ready.
No surprises, but they're all going to be good ones. So talk to us first and foremost about your first win.
Yeah, when I think back in the world of business, one of my earliest wins is when I was really a teenager building out one of my earlier businesses. And we got to the point that it wasn't just me. Not only were we bringing on multiple clients and generating revenue from multiple clients, but we started to build out the team. So now I had team members. Now we had multiple clients, and that was the feeling of having a real business, not just a one-off, one time, but a buildable, scalable thing. And that business, we actually continued to grow over a number of years and learned a few tough lessons along the way there. Sometimes with growth, we trip up and make a few mistakes. And one of the ones that sticks out to me is as we were growing, early on in the business, I was like the account manager, closing new deals and handling the interactions with clients. And one of the roles we hired for was an account exec, people to step in and take over that role. The handoff didn't go as well as it could, but that's okay. We learned from that, and we didn't make that mistake again. We much better communicated those kinds of changes, as we scaled up and grew. And a lot of the lessons I took from that business and how to grow and scale, I've used over the decades, not just for myself as a serial entrepreneur, but with clients as well. You figure out a process, a system, a something in your business, prove it out yourself. You build up the system, you hire for that role, and then you just simply rinse and repeat that. And a lot of that can lead us towards that growth we also seek.
And this was as a teenager.
Yes. Now, granted, I mean, if you could tell for our video viewers, a little gray hair there, that was a little while ago.
So, I mean, how did you went to school at the same time then? You went to high school at the same time? Were you bored out of your mind going to school as you're building a business at the same time? Like, how did that work?
Thinking back, I was really fortunate to have some great teachers and advisors who made space for that. In fact, I even got like an independent study class for myself so I could run business, take care of client work, and do all that and get school credit for it. So I was really fortunate to have wonderful teachers and advisors who supported that.
That is rare. That is something that yes. Talk to us about your best habit. You've been at this for a long time. What is your best habit?
Well, I think if we're speaking, personally or bigger picture, movement is really big for me. So I'm active most every morning. I'm out there, before dawn, usually on a bike ride or out for a run or doing something. And I know if for whatever reason I don't get that in, like I'm not myself that day. And so it's important to me to get out and have the fresh air, regardless of the weather or where we are in the travels or whatever. That just sets me up for success for the rest of the day. I'm just, I'm awake, I'm energized, I'm ready to take on, whatever is out there. But that's on the personal side. On the business side, I'm a huge fan of like checklists from a productivity standpoint. I remember years ago, I earned the nickname Jeremy Check the Box Shapiro, because when I take notes, pen and paper notes, when I write something down, I put a little box next to that item. And man, once I make that box, I got to go back and check that. And that way I know if I have an idea or a strategy or a thought or a tactic, it doesn't just get lost. Because so often we go to conferences, we take courses, we read books, and we get inspired, and we should take action on it, but then we go back into the regular routine of the day. So when we create a system to take an idea and turn it into action, and then we actually do action it, that's really where we get results.
So those two things tied, your checklists and your exercise, do you use the exercise or the morning thing for meditation, like reflecting on the skills and the things you're learning? Is that how it works?
I mean, I'd love to say yes, but the truth is I enjoy the social aspect of it. Going out for a run or a ride on my own isn't that exciting. A big draw for me is going out with friends and having that run or ride buddy or someone you're there with. And that usually is great conversation. And sometimes that turns to business or the challenge of the day or whatever is going on. And it's really good to have that sounding board and, catch up with people who get it, who've been there, who've done that.
Got it. It's more of a separation. Got it. All right, Coach. So let's, of all the strategies in marketing that you're teaching others right now, what is your favorite strategy at the moment? A quick break before we get to that next answer, because I know that answer is going to be brilliant, which is why I chose this moment to interrupt. If you love what you're seeing and you want to run your business off of warm marketing referrals, visit our website, livelocalwarmmarketing.com. It's got valuable resources, office hours, memberships, the book, an array of resources to help you get rid of cold calls, cold leads, door knocking, and run a business you can be proud of through referrals and warm marketing. Now, back to the show.
Well, in terms of favorite, I've always been a huge fan. If you can't tell, I can be mildly extroverted. I love, speaking and doing workshops and coming into a group and being able to get hands-on. I've found so often as a reader and lover of business books and courses and workshops and conferences that when you've got someone presenting or writing about why you should do something, that piques interest. We get excited. And then sometimes we even talk about the what that thing is. And then you're able to write down like, okay, now I know why I should do something and what it is. But so often books and presentations lack the how to do the thing. And that always frustrated me as a student, right? You get all excited with this business book and you want to go implement it. And the next step is like to go hire that author or that company. And you realize you've just invested your time and money in effectively a sales pitch for what they do. And that was always frustrating to me. So when I set out to write my book and put together workshops, it was really important to me that I have tactical, practical advice that you can read through or tune into and then go do in your business, right? I want you to be able to, in the same way that I do, take down an idea, put that little checkbox next to it, go do it with the know-how and be able to check that box yourself. So implementation is so, so, so crucial. And that strategy that I use in my business is workshops, teaching, publishing my books, and so forth.
When you do the workshops and you're out there with businesses, do you see like a common hurdle amongst businesses? What would that be?
Yeah, when people find me or bring me in, it's usually because they as business owners have hit one of those inevitable plateaus. All businesses hit plateaus. We look for this, this hockey stick growth, which is wonderful, right? But if you zoom out of that hockey stick curve, the top of it, it flattens to a plateau. So it's not about avoiding the plateaus. It's about anticipating them, knowing that curve doesn't go on forever, and then making the plan for what's going to happen and what you'll do when you get there. Got it.
Oh, that's good. It's all sinking in. Sorry, you got to give me a second because as you're saying these things, I'm like, oh man, that's just brilliant. That's great. All right, so talk to us. I'm sure I on your socials, I see it all the time. Video content. How are you using video marketing right now in your business to promote?
When you say video marketing, I think, are we talking like quality? Are we talking quantity? Because man, there's so much AI slop and garbage out there.
It is.
Some which can be amusing, right? But if it's generated just for the purpose of filling a feed and consuming my time, that I don't care for, right? So it's important to me not to produce that garbage. But quality, that's, I think, gold. So where I've been using video a lot more as of late is the shorter form video clips that come from episodes of the podcast that I host. And I've been astounded by this, right? What I'm doing right now is I'm generating like, 2 to 3 clips per episode. I probably could do more, but I'm playing with 3 right now. And we post them up there. And generally, like 2 of them do pretty good. And 1 of them just like, 5 to 20 X's the other clips. And why? I mean, I wish I could tell you, is it the time of day? Is it the content? Is it the, you
Yeah.
know, not entirely sure, but I also know if I had just gone with one short, I might not have hit that home run winner. If I go with 7, maybe I'll find one that does even more. I don't know. But I'm finding that's getting really good traction and viewership, subscribes, and all the rest of it. So working with a few clips and not just spaghetti on the wall, but I calendar and space these things out. So that's been working well.
When you do the 3, are you doing them like back to back to back, like posting a success, or are you doing it like one a day, one the next day, and one the next day? Like, what is the timing of that?
Yeah, I space them out. So with one episode dropping per week, what I do is I space it out, 3 of those shorts over the course of the week after the episode comes out.
Got it. And they seem that's pretty effective. Do you ever at the end like send them to a link for the full episode, or you just kind of keep it to clips?
Yeah, really good question. And we've been playing with this. So, on YouTube, you can specify what to link to. And so I always link it to the episode that the clip came from. And one thing we just started doing this week, actually, is putting a visual call to action on the end. I was debating, do I do an audio call to action, like, hit that subscribe button, subscribe today. I don't love that. So we're doing, it's just a visual. So kind of the audio comes up and it's a little animation about, subscribing, because it's a video first format. So, we keep it to the video piece.
Okay. That's great. Excellent advice. So you've been working with tons of different businesses. When it comes to the branding and creating their stories, I'm sure you've seen some that just aren't right. They aren't aligned with their branding. How do you have the conversation to get them realigned and actually reach out to the people they should be reaching out to?
It's so funny, especially for newer business owners who don't quite have their market figured out yet. They want to go wide. They want to help everyone.
Yep.
I remember being at an event and meeting this realtor, right? And I asked the realtor, I'm like, oh, that's great. So do you work with buyers or sellers? And he's like, oh, both. I'm like, oh, well, do you work in this zip code or this area? And he's like, oh, like the entire area. I'm like, okay, you work with like first-time home buyers and investment, investors, or you work with multifamily commercial, like what are we doing? And he's like, all of it. I'm like, I'm trying to help this guy out here to figure out how I can refer him someone. Yeah. And all he's doing is saying like, I'm the most generic person in the world. And so the analogy I often think about is if you were ever in the situation, I hope you're never in, where you need like urgent cardiac heart surgery, right? Do you want to go to like the best cardiac specialist who does the surgery all day long, in and out, for people just like you? Or do you want to go to like the family doctor who's also a veterinarian, who's also a dentist? You want to go to the specialist. And guess what? You are going to pay anything and everything for the person who speaks exactly to you and does exactly the thing you want and nothing else. And so the same thing for business owners. We talk about niching all the time and figuring out who your ideal customer is. No one's saying you have to turn away the people who don't fit, but you are going to attract the ones who fit a lot better. You can charge a premium and you can truly, truly differentiate. And I'll share one super quick story in the 17 seconds I see remaining. I was working with once, and he was doing construction demolition and getting all kinds of leads. And so he was everything to everyone. But he sat down with his SEO guy and looked at top 20 inquiries that were leading to traffic.
Yeah.
And he picked the top one, went all in on just that one specific niche. And he doubled his business year over year after year, became the biggest swimming pool removal company in the country because of that. And because he got specialized, could have specialized equipment, specialized trained staff, higher profit margins, higher price points, everything. Niching is a win all around. So to your question about branding, dial in who your ideal customer is, niche down to that, and you can speak exactly to them.
How do you know who your ideal customer is? It's a matter of asking questions. It is a matter of like, where do I enjoy working? Like how am I bringing that out?
It can be both. I mean, you should certainly enjoy working with your ideal customer. If you don't, you're setting yourself up for frustration, right? So you can do it a few ways. One is for our established business owners, you can look at like, who do you over-index on in terms of who you attract working with. You can look at what are the most profitable jobs or kinds of clients you get, who are the ones you love working with the most, and so forth. If you want to nerd deeper into this, we can, but there's like, you can go heavy data approach on it as well.
Got you. The people will want to hook up with you and get that answer from you themselves once we get to the end of the episode. That's for sure. Yeah. So let's talk about, let's shift gears a little bit and let's do AI, because no conversation is going to go without AI. What is your favorite use of AI at the moment?
Yeah. So, being an author with a book that recently came out, one of the things I found really helpful was some people go about this the other way, by the way, is like they'll do AI generation for a book and you'll get like an AI slop of a book, and like, don't do that, right? We don't need more of that. So
True.
Having created my book is like, ultimate and long form content, right? It's a lot of phenomenal original content for me. And so being able to have AI work with not just my manuscript, but also my research notes and generate content plan for me in terms of social, in terms of, titles of content and so forth is huge, because it's my original stuff that's now being respun in a different way. And so I was able to take sort of the structure that I want for my social and have it give me some of the ideas based on my content and notes and things that didn't even make it into the book. That then lets me fill in the blank and have a content plan. We all know with marketing, it's about a plan. It's not about waking up and thinking, what should I do to market today? So this lets me have that longer term calendar built out of what I'll be talking about, that all has a structure, a plan, a calendar, and ties back to my own original content. That's been super helpful.
For the book itself too, did you do any have it doing any editing or fixing or looking over ideas and stuff for you as well, or just content?
Ideas for the book, it was good to bounce some ideas around, but no, I went with like absolute human first editor. Yes, you can get AI editing and like that's okay, right? But I definitely wanted a human who has experience in nonfiction business book space, with a traditional publishing background, and all that, to be the actual editor. Same thing cover design wise. Can you get AI generated covers? Sure. But like having deep research in your category for what sells, for what your buyers expect, for what's going to speak to them and so forth. Like that was a human first, job. And I'm really pleased with the results.
So basically you're using your AI as like a brainstorming coworker. Like you guys sit down and just have like brainstorming sessions together.
Yeah. Instead of starting with a blank slate and saying, hey, AI, like give me something, I'm starting with my content and saying, hey, I did this. What more can I do with what I've already made?
Got it. That makes sense. All right. Before we get to your the business, we have one more last question. So let's say you're talking and you're getting clients and you get into the space and they just aren't going really well. How do you give them the confidence that what their business is doing is on the right track? They just need some patience. Like, how does that discussion look for you?
I mean, bigger picture than just business. I mean, I find confidence comes from doing hard things and then repeating it, right? Like growth rarely comes from our comfort zone. Growth always comes from stepping out of the comfort zone. Something feels yucky, uncomfortable, not right, difficult, challenging, and all that. But you get to the other side of it and you look back and realize like, oh, I did that thing that wasn't so bad, and you can do it again. So sometimes, for example, like when I talk with clients about increasing their price point, right? Something I cover in depth in the book.
Yes.
It's super important, right? Oftentimes, especially for service-based businesses, you have a price point in mind for what you're worth and what you were worth all those years ago when you started your business. And you've kind of forgotten to update what your market price or value should be. And so when you shift to value-based pricing and you're pitching that to a client, if it's a different number you're not used to, that can come across, right? So part of doing the hard thing is practice it until it's not uncomfortable, right? Maybe lose a client, a prospect or two because you fumbled through it, but you get some confidence. And then next thing you know, you have clients who are saying yes, because you've got the confidence to back up where your value-based price point should be. So yeah, to your question though, for companies who are trying to figure out that confidence in, in their sales process or what they're doing, get some at bats, right? Don't try and figure out the perfect system, the perfect offer and all that. It's really sad when I see, an entrepreneur that's like the inventor archetype trying to perfect the perfect something and never even seeing if the market wants it.
Doing it. Yes.
Right? Get out there, pitch this, sell this, get the interest. At the point someone says, yes, I want to buy that from you. Now, okay, there's traction here. I'm going to go build this thing, as opposed to building it and hoping someone buys it.
So are you doing a lot of like polling or client feedback when you do this process, like with this?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of MVPs, or minimum viable products, right? Even like in my authorship journey of writing a book, one of the things I learned is that, okay, look, in the true Silicon Valley way, I thought I would like open Google Docs, start typing up my book, bang it out in 3 weeks, publish the PDF and be done. And then I learned about this whole like intentional writing process of writing more in public, getting beta feedback on your book. So even months before the book was out, I had prospective readers who are my ideal reader, by the way, fitting that ideal client profile.
Yeah.
Reading the early, messier manuscript and giving feedback. Because the last thing you want to do is publish a book that is now print and done and set in stone and get feedback on what's confusing, what doesn't make sense, what was liked, not liked, and so forth. So getting that feedback early validated I was writing a book people wanted, was proving out the systems that people read the book early and used it and told me where they got stuck. And I was able to revise the book before it went to print.
That's awesome.
So test, and test early.
Test early and get the feedback and make adjustments and constantly reflect. We probably could keep going for another 3 hours. We have so many different things that we just barely nipped on and just got some of the ideas. But the format we have is perfect for that. It's just kind of bringing out to the audience where your genius really lies. And so let's talk about your business and where can people get a hold of you so that way they can get the rest of their answers.
Yeah. So you can, first off, you can find me at yourbusinessgrowthplaybook.com. That's where you can find out more about my book, Your Business Growth Playbook.
Yes.
And you can connect with me and see all this great content we've been talking about. You can, easily get an audio overview of the book there. You can even download the book. You can get everything and more over there. But really, my area of genius is I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been working with entrepreneurs my entire career, 30 years now, helping them to scale up and get back to the growth they deserve so they can get to that true entrepreneurial freedom, right? No one went into business just to work a 90-hour work week and have all the worst parts of a job and the worst parts of a business. You got in there for that entrepreneurial freedom. And it absolutely is possible. So many entrepreneurs have been down that path, the same journey you're on. And there's a lot we can learn to get there faster and get all the freedom that comes from owning a true, real business. And that's what I help folks to do.
That's amazing. Yeah. Like I said, we just tipped on a lot of these different topics, just enough that we could sample all of your insights. So I encourage you, go to his LinkedIn, follow his information, read the book, get all the stuff, because we just barely started tapping into Jeremy today. And it's up to you now, dear audience, to get the rest of the information from him. So we appreciate your time and your help today. And man, that was great stuff.
Thanks for inviting me on. Love the show format. And this was fun.